The Andy Pollin Show.
We got to go after this with everything we got, thinking they're going to come with everything they got.
I'll start off by saying I'm bored, I'm broke, and I'm back.
The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630 starts right now.
This is Orioles preview. We do this every Wednesday. Orioles playing Game 2 of their series against the Cubs tonight. Coverage here on ESPN 630. Gets underway at 6 o'clock. They've got Corbin Burns on the mound tonight. He is going to the All-Star game. We'll hear from him in just a bit. Also, this is the prelude to what is going to be an enormous series this weekend. Not that they don't want to beat the Cubs in the next couple of games, but they got the Yankees coming in for 3 games. And they have managed to keep their head above water with the Yankees really slumping. But they can really put some distance between themselves and the slumping Yankees this weekend when they get together for a 3-game series. Okay, we can bring that music down a little bit, and we can bring in the hitting coach of the Baltimore Orioles, Ryan Fuller, who joins us now. A little bit of hitting last night, not enough pitching, but the way the team has been hitting this year, Ryan, you got to be very pleased with the way things are going. Here in just a minute, but we'll try to get him back on the air if he calls back. The way the Yankees have cratered ever since they were the best team in baseball in mid-June is remarkable. They've lost 17 of their last 23 games, and even though the Orioles haven't been playing their best baseball in recent days, that they have managed to maintain a 3-game lead on them. Did we lose him again? Can we get him up? Is he back? There he is. Ryan, you with us?
I'm with you.
Good. We had little technical issues, but thanks for being with us today. I've been talking about, this is the team in general. We'll get to the hitting situation, but you've had some tough losses in recent games, but as you look, and I'm sure there's some scoreboard watching that goes on, what the Yankees have been going through has really put you in a position that when you meet this weekend, you can really put some distance between you. How do you look at the way your team is playing right now and the way the Yankees are going through their struggles?
Yeah, we're really pleased with how we're playing. We're over 90 games in, and we're in a really good spot, and we really don't worry about any other team at this point in the season. We know there's plenty of games to play. But whenever you're playing a team like the Yankees or an in-division opponent, you're always excited. You always want to make those games count. So we're looking forward to this weekend and having a few sellout crowds at Camden.
Let's get to the Ryan Fuller story. You're from Connecticut. Is it true that Bobby Valentine is considered to be the greatest baseball player to come from Connecticut?
He has spoke. I went to the University of Connecticut. He spoke at one of our dinners there. He's entrenched in Connecticut baseball, so especially in the southwest corner, Fairfield area, he's very well known, and everybody appreciates what he did for the game there.
Yeah, he sadly suffered a very unfortunate injury, tripping over a tarp, and it was a very badly broken leg, which altered his career. But from what I understand, and people who managed him, like Tom Lasorda, said he would have been an all-star caliber player and would have been a part of those great Dodger teams of the 1970s.
Yeah, it's a shame. He's an unbelievable guy, obviously an amazing career, and then what he's done, coaching career, and now he was athletic director at Sacred Heart University. He's given back to the game, and somebody we definitely look up to, people from Connecticut.
As you said, you went to Connecticut, played there, spent a year in the Diamondbacks organization, and then became a high school teacher and a coach, and you didn't just have a cup of coffee doing that. You did that for 6 years. Did you think that would be your career, doing that?
I did. I was fully entrenched for 35 years of being a teacher, getting the teacher pension, and then coaching the high school baseball team. So this is just an unbelievable experience to be not just with the Orioles and their organization, because it's a first-class organization, but to be at the top with the major league team, winning the AL East division last year. I mean, it's a dream for me, and to be where I'm at, I'm grateful every day.
Well, let's talk about how this giant leap happened. You're coaching high school. It's 2019, and then what happens? You get a call out of the blue that the Orioles are interested in hiring you?
In Connecticut, there was a facility called the Pit, and at the Pit, we had a lot of high school players who had aspirations to play college come in, and I would simply put their swings on my Instagram page in hopes of getting them attention for college. And that in turn got the attention of Matt Flood, our director of player development with the Orioles, and he asked if I'd be interested in coaching at Delmarva, our single A affiliate. And I said, all right, I can always go back to being a teacher, but I don't know how many opportunities are going to come my way to be a professional coach. And just perfect timing, the right people around me, the right situation, what Mike Elias, Sig Meidel, Matt Blood has created here has been amazing. So I got to work with great players right away, and that helped propel my career as well. So to be in the major leagues with guys like Adley Gunner that I grew up with in the organization is so special.
Are you married?
I am.
Okay, and you say to your wife, okay, we're tracking very well here. I've got a great job. We're going to do this for 35 years. I got a pension coming. But now you got this opportunity to coach in the minor leagues. I'm assuming for less money at the time. How did that go over in the house?
Well, we just celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary. And 5 years ago, I was still a high school English teacher. So we got married. My wife didn't know anything about baseball, but she is the best. She's so supportive. And she said, if you think this is something that will be good for the future, let's give it a try. And she didn't understand that meant being away from each other for a good part of 2 years while we were in the minor leagues. But we've made it work. And to have a spouse that's super supportive is huge. Yeah,
and look, and you talk about your rise. You're coaching high school, 2 years in the minors, and then you get bumped up to the majors. That's a meteoric rise. You must have been very, very successful working with these younger players. And what was the impetus to make you have that big leap from the minors to the big club?
Yeah, to work with players like Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg, they're going to make any coach look good.
Yeah.
So get in that position, and I definitely had imposter syndrome coming in. I've worked with high school guys. How am I going to work with AA players? How am I going to be able to tell major league players what to do? But I think the thing that the Orioles attract in coaches is you're humble, you want to learn, you're open to new ideas. And I think the players feel that we don't have all the answers. We're trying to figure it out with them, and we're going to be in the trenches working hard with them every day. So I think when players see that, they're more open to coaching versus someone just saying, hey, it's easy, go do this. So they see that we understand it's very hard, and we're learning with them every day, so they're more open to that coaching.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, especially baseball, the successful managers, by and large, were not necessarily great players. The greatest in the history of the Orioles, Earl Weaver, may have had a cup of coffee. And, you think of coaches as well. The coach that I heard of years ago was Charlie Lau. I think he had also a cup of coffee in the majors. What is it that separates guys like you and him out, that you're able to do the coaching for these players who someday may wind up in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's so exciting that is even a possibility, but we have players of that caliber. And I think it always starts with relationship building. They want to know you care about them. And I think we do such a good job with the Orioles of making sure that everything we give them is individualized for them. So we'll have team approaches for a pitcher that night, but we're always going to specify, here's what you're going to do. We check in with them every couple of weeks to say, hey, these are the metrics you're tracking. And more often than not, the players, when we go to them with feedback, it's, yeah, that's what I was feeling. I'm glad you brought that up. So it's having a pulse on the players, getting to know them on and off the field, and being a part of their life, because we are with them every single day for about 8 months every year. So you end up being with the players more so than your family. So making sure those relationships are there and those guys open up pretty well.
Do you find yourself being somewhat of a psychologist as well as a coach, because so much of baseball is mental?
That's a huge part of what we do, and these guys are very aware of the importance of the mental side of the game. With the Orioles, we do things like breath work. We go over their at-bats from the night before. We ask when the heartbeat was racing a little bit higher. So these guys are unbelievably in tune with what they need physically and mentally too, and they're not afraid to say, yeah, that moment got a little big here. I was looking for fastball. I should have been on slider. That sped up. What can we do to change it next time? So we have really good resources with the Orioles. to be able to go back, walk them through, and make sure that that mental side of the game is being checked as well.
Talking to Ryan Fuller, Orioles hitting coach, we know about the success of guys like Rutschman and Henderson. Who are some of the guys that maybe weren't as heralded and came through and you've worked with that you feel like you've really made great strides with them?
I'll give you one, and he came to our organization after he got DFA'd from the Kansas City Royals, Ryan O'Hearn. We are so proud of him. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who played 4 years in the big leagues, didn't really get a chance to play every day, kind of a bench player. He got DFA'd, came to us. We made a few adjustments, and he's been entrenched as our 3-4 hole hitter, righty specialist, coming off the bench, and a guy that's totally turned around his career. Now he's making a lot of money, but more so than that, he's helping us win AL East championships, and he's just a guy that embodies everything we want out of our players, to have an open mind, looking for ways to grow. They challenge themselves every day in the cage and on the field. So he's one we look at and we say we do a really good job of developing players within our own organization, but feeling comfortable and confident in our ability to attract players that maybe didn't get the chance or the opportunity somewhere else and make sure their career is still ahead of them.
I'm from a generation of a period where we looked at the paper and we looked at the three numbers, average, home runs, RBIs. As time has gone on, it seems like there are other numbers that are looked at. Are batting average and home runs are a big part of the game now, but has batting average been significantly decreased in importance over the years?
When we look at stats, we always try and correlate them to run scoring. So which statistics give us the best chance of scoring runs on that night? And batting average is still a stat that correlates with scoring runs because now you're on base and other guys behind you have the ability to hit too. But when you look at the other stats, OBP, slug, OPS, putting those two together, it just gives us a better barometer of, man, when we're doing this, when we have that high OPS, we're really scoring runs. So we just look at the statistics that give us the best chance of scoring runs. Mm-hmm. And usually that boils down to the guy's OPS. And then based on the player, it's okay, you're not going to be a slugger. So we got to focus more on those singles, taking our walks, controlling the strike zone a little bit more. So how those guys get those high OPSs is more individualized, but that's usually the key metric we look at to score runs.
Okay, and it seems like with the rule changes that they made, limited throws over to first, slightly enlarging the bases, that steals have become a bigger part of the game, base running, so forth. Has that changed in the way, you'll have players maybe look for walks a little bit more or try to get the ball in play? Have the rule changes made any significant difference in how you coach them in hitting?
Yeah, especially with situational hitting, we always talk about if we get a man on third, less than two, hitting a single is just as valuable as hitting a home run because now we can score a run and we get a guy on first and we get to start the process all over again. And we have players like Cedric Mullins, Jorge Mateo, Jordan Westberg. These guys have unbelievable speed. So if you're going to be presented with a walk, take that walk, go to first base, and now in 2 pitches we could be at third base with the team speed. So we love being aggressive on the base passes, and these guys are really good at getting bags and keeping pressure on the defense.
Yeah, well, it's been fun to watch. It's an exciting team, and love the young stars. And the good thing is we're going to see them for a while because they're under team control. So congratulations to you, and what a giant leap from 5 years ago. And congratulations on the job that you've done with the young hitters on the Orioles as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time this morning.
Good to talk to you. That's the hitting coach for the Baltimore Orioles, Ryan Fuller, as they continue their series with the Cubs tonight. Coming up, we'll look back at what was a tough night last night, but it was an interesting day for the Orioles because they added a 4th player to their All-Stars, and we'll get to that and more as we continue. It's the Andy Pollin Show with Orioles Preview, ESPN 630.